One of the biggest complaints when Baldur's Gate 3 got announced was that it had a turn-based combat system instead of a real-time with pause one. And these complaints were mostly from fans from the older Baldur's Gate titles, since those games had the real-time with pause combat system. But on the other hand, fans of the Divinity Original Sin games liked the turn-based combat, since those titles had it as well. So in this video I'm going to compare the two and share what I think is the best choice for Baldur's Gate 3. And if you want to see more Baldur's Gate 3 videos and follow all its news, feel free to subscribe. So let's first start with an argument with the combat system that Baldur's Gate 3 currently has, the turn-based one. Even though the older Baldur's Gate titles had real-time with pause, Larian Studios didn't create those games, because they worked on the Divinity franchise, with the most popular games being Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. And these games had turn-based combat, and it's where Larian Studios has the most experience as well. So that's a huge benefit we currently have. Larian doesn't have to develop a completely new combat system and can continue to improve on this one. But it's also a huge advantage if you play the Divinity Original Sin games like me. You can jump right into it with only learning a couple of new things, since the two are very similar, and Baldur's Gate 3 being easier in my opinion. But if you only played the previous Baldur's Gate titles, this is a disadvantage for you, because now you have to play with something you're not used to, or maybe you just like the old one more. And I understand for those fans it's a bit of a letdown. But looking at a newcomer perspective for CRPGs, it's obvious that turn-based is easier to learn and play, because real-time with pause has a higher learning curve and you could argue it's more tactical as well. But that's probably why those fans love it so much, because it's so tactical. It can really feel like a huge victory if you win a hard encounter. And I don't mean that turn-based isn't tactical at all, but it's certainly easier to manage in my opinion. So this basically really comes down to what you prefer more. The second argument is where the combat system is based on, and that's the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Baldur's Gate 3 is very similar to this combat system, with only a couple of homebrew changes. But if you play D&D 5e like myself, you can feel right at home as well. Almost everything is familiar for you and you only have to learn a couple of new things like the new reaction system. And to be honest, I don't really like the reaction system Baldur's Gate 3 currently has, and I really hope they change it to be more like how it works in Dungeons & Dragons as well. So again, it could be a huge benefit if you currently play Dungeons & Dragons, but if you don't, you'll have to learn it anyway. But what if I told you there's another solution? One that's arguably the best one. And that brings me to my third argument, to have both combat systems available. Now, although this sounds perfect, don't expect this one to come, as I'll later explain why. But the reason why this could be the best solution is that you of course satisfy both audiences. If you like turn-based combat, go ahead and play it. And if you like real-time with pause, let's click a switch in the settings and you're done. A game that has both combat systems available is Pathfinder, for example. You can play however you like and even switch in the middle of the game. But if this is the perfect solution, why won't Larian do it as well? Well, that's because it's not as easy as it seems. You have to balance every encounter in the game for both combat systems. And besides costing a ton of work, not every encounter will be balanced for either of them. But okay, let's say you can change every encounter to work for both of the combat systems. The biggest reason why that probably still won't happen is simply because it's too much work. Larian Studios have said multiple times that the game is already way bigger than they anticipated, and even moved the target release date from 22 to 23. And note I said targeted, because they haven't promised anything, except that they said it's hopefully coming in 22 and now they say it's hopefully coming in 2023. Anyway, this shows that Larian Studios already have a hard time working on the game, and bringing both combat systems to the game would almost be impossible to finish it. They would have to change the entire combat system, rebalance all encounters, and they just want this game to be done. And I understand. I think it's a good decision to just finish the game as soon as possible instead of having another 5 years of development time. But who knows, maybe Larian has been working in secret on having both available. It's just my guess and what seems like logic to me. But personally, I prefer the turn-based combat system. I've played the Divinity Original Sin games, I still play Dungeons & Dragons and already played a ton of Baldur's Gate 3's early access. And I'm not only used to it, but I also really like it so far. I just enjoy it more, simple as that. But if you really prefer real-time with pause, there's nothing bad about it, and you're allowed to feel disappointed. But give the current combat system a chance. I think it's still really good and enjoyable, but that decision is up to you. But I'm really curious what you guys prefer. Do you enjoy the current turn-based combat system, or do you prefer the real-time with pause one more? Please share your opinions in the comments down below. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like and subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 videos. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.